Yo, guys, we have a problem. I'm far from home right now and I forgot the mic. I thought it's either we stop this video or we just roll it, and I hold the phone and then I try to bring the best sound that I can. Otherwise, forgive me, please. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's Sibua and I appreciate that you're here with me today. Look, something special here. This thing looks amazing. I think if you're arguing, we'll argue in the comments, but hey, for me, this thing looks amazing. Otherwise, this is the XC60 Volvo. It's a T8 recharge, and hey, yeah, I'll say it again, this thing looks amazing. Look, this one is what you'll get when you get the T8 recharge. It's a dark package, it's standard like this, and to actually make it look like chromish, you know, diplomatic spec, because I think that's what a lot of people that are buying Volvo prefer, right? You have to pay an extra 2,000 to get like chrome grills and so on and so on. But this one, I think for me, it's more youthful. It resonates well with people like us in this case, as much as you might have a young family here and there, but you still want to look a little bit more youthful. And this one, I think, because when the intake's here, you'll see that it's black as well. The trim here by the bumpers is black. The grille trim as well is also black. I think, you know what? It looks rather amazing, especially in this paint, because this paint, I've seen it on a lot of cars in this case, and in this Volvo, I think it works out. I think others are calling it Meadow Grey, others are calling it Warrior Grey, others are calling it whatever grey that they want to call it. Volvo is calling it Vapor Grey, and yeah, it looks the part. It actually looks the part for me. Guys, look. There's a lot that I want to say, but because we don't even have a mic, maybe we should just hit the road and then talk about everything else relating to the Volvo XC60. Let's not waste much time. Let's hit the road right now. Let's go. I will need it, but you see how this Ranger is moving right now. If I want to catch up to it, oh, it's in Everest actually, I can literally just join it right now. Let me not go crazy. Let me not go crazy, because hey, you know what? This is still a public road. A little bit of and that is 120. That is 120. This is the same track I played in the GLC when we were doing that long distance drive, so you can compare the two videos. Same camera system, same everything. So, the XC60 T8 recharge. I have to say the Volvo Beijing actually is the one that is confusing this whole thing, because we used to get like your momentums and descriptions and so on, D5, and now you get a B as well. The B's actually are representing your normal internal combustion. In Volvo's terms, you know, Volvo is a sustainable brand. Normal is mild hybrid in this case, just paired to a 48 volt battery that then is assisting you with the boosting and so on, the same way that it does in the Mercedes actually, that we've been talking about. But in this one, because this is a plug-in hybrid, you see that right there on the left side, there is a charging port there that you can use then to charge, and I think it has like think close to 20 kilowatts in terms of 18 kilowatts hour battery or so, and Volvo is indicating that it can actually do like 80 kilometers, but yeah, now it's empty. It's at 0, and I think I've done probably close to 50 or so in real world, because also it depends how you pull it. But hey, this is a Volvo, and you know how it goes. Sometimes you just need to be a little bit sophisticated. But you can see outside through the design actually that, you know what, this looks like a Polestar, because this kind of design, this are designed like actually they were the mild versions of the top spec Polestar performance versions, and this is one such, of course, in terms of how it looks and so on. Of course, we're not calling it a Polestar here, but I have to say, like I said initially, the way it looks, man, the way it looks from outside. You know what, before I even get to the looks, let's talk about the power figures in here, because this one, when you get a T8 recharge, you get a 2-liter, not only turbocharged, guys, supercharged engine. Wow. And it's capable alone of pulling up to, I think, 233 kilowatts and 400 newton meters of torque. And yeah, those are respectable figures. But if you thought that's not enough, listen, you also get that electric motor coming in, giving you around 107 kilowatts and 309 newton meters of torque, and combine them making 340 kilowatts and 709 newton meters of torque. Guys, we're talking serious power figures here. I think, let me do this now, because it has some driving modes in here. Of course, if you go to driving, and you'll see that it has hybrid. Of course, right now it's driving on hybrid, but we don't have enough battery, of course. So you'll see that teardrop just on the side of the, what is this truck doing? Hey, confusing me. Okay, just there on the cluster, just on the right there, you'll see the teardrop, and just that, it's showing you if it's above, if the gauge is above the teardrop, then you know that you're using the internal combustion engine only at that point, or rather just supported by the EV mode, of course. But if it's below, it's driving on AV mode, that means then you can only be using battery power. What I like about this is that when it's fully charged on a normal day, you can literally just drive this car, you know, without actually worrying more about petrol or anything like that. Yes, you still need to have the fuel in the tank, but you can use this car as an EV every day, just charging it in your garage like late at night, and then every day just getting like 30-50 kilometers. I think hybrid in that way makes a lot of sense. In fact, I didn't think plug-in hybrid makes sense, but right now I'm in for it. But when you're on power mode now, that's where then immediately it's switching there. You see now it's a rev counter showing you that I'm no longer even bothered about the EV side of things. It's on power. And then if I'm on Pew, I can't get to it now because I only have 0 in terms of 0 kilometers in the battery. There's nothing there, but it's pure electric. And then off-road, of course, you can take this car off-road, or you can put it on constant all-wheel drive, which then normally this car is front-wheel bias when you're driving it. But when then it feels like the slippage and so on, it will feed in the power as well to the rear wheels. That's how then it is. But right now I'm on power mode because sorry, because anyway, it's not like I'm gonna need a battery. Yes, I will need it, but you see how this Ranger is moving right now. If I want to catch up to it, oh, it's in Everest actually, I can literally just join it right now. Let me not go crazy. Let me not go crazy, because hey, you know what, this is still a public road, guys, but this thing moves. This thing moves, guys. I can't go crazy right now. We're shooting video, and you know what, we are law-abiding citizens, and yeah, this thing moves, guys. I love this engine. I love how it goes. Probably some of the strongest 2 liters that you're gonna get is in the Volvos, because yeah, I think when I'm looking at the competition, I mean, you're looking at your typical X3 Q5, you're looking at the GLC that we had as well, which is a 2 liter, and I think in that one you can actually feel that it moves, but compared to this one, guys, this is a little bit different, because this thing is powerful, guys. I think it's just mind-blowing, because if you think about it, the GLC 300, I think it has 198 kilowatts, and we're talking 233 just on the engine, and this one it's like 340. I mean, this thing is quick. When we get to the highway, then we can at least just talk about, or just at least move from 0 and try to push it to 100. I think it can do it in less than 5 seconds actually. But hey, you know what, let's talk about the looks of this car. This thing, guys, nah, you know what, when we had the GLC, the coupe, just a few weeks back when we were talking about it and so on, I was thinking, yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit difficult for anyone to choose from design perspective. But this thing on picture, I don't think it's doing it justice. When you're standing in front of it, that's where you realize that actually Volvo is looking great. And thinking it's been around for quite some time as well. I mean, this car, I mean, the current shape has been there since 2017, but it's still competing to this day. It just shows how timeless this design is, man. I think from the perspective of the front as well, this Thor hammer design that's been there with Volvo quite some time, it's still appealing as well. Then, like I said, when we're talking about this dark badging, dark trim that they've put here, it adds a lot of appeal to it. I love it. The diamond cut rims as well, we're talking 21 inches. Yes, on the road one might think it's not going to be as comfortable as well, but hey, we'll talk about that just a bit. But when you're looking at it on the side, that's where a lot of people are like, but is this a station wagon or is this an SUV? I think it's because the far rear window there, just by the, is it D pillar, A, B, C, just by the C towards D pillar, it's a little bit big, and you know that is normally on station wagons and so on. So it looks like the car is stretched a bit, but hey, you know what, for me, it does actually look the part, regardless of how it is, because the space as well is quite sufficient inside. When you get to the rear, of course, you know the typical Volvo design that people are always saying. When you see it on the other cars, you're always saying that, nah, but you know what, these guys took it from Volvo. And I agree with you, Volvo started with this thing, unless if maybe I don't remember very well. But again, they look quite great as well from the rear as well. I can't even say that it's flat or anything like that, as much as they deleted the exhaust pipes from, you know, I think it's because Volvo, they're moving towards electric, so it's like they're hiding that they're still using ice. This is ice, Volvo, it's ice. But yeah, let me go back to hybrid. It will be adjusting suspension at the same time. But hey, I think talking about that, talking about comfort, right now you can see I'm doing like what, 96, just moving it towards 100 now. And when I meet road imperfections, that's where, if I don't know that it's actually I have to say, before I even talk about specs, guys, it comes standard with air suspension when you're getting this T8 Recharge. And that's something that I think the competition needs to look at and think about and ask themselves, why can't I do the same thing? Because before you even spec it quite far, that's what you're going to be getting. So we're talking air suspension here. When you're just cruising on the road, you can feel just how smooth this thing is, how comfortable it is. Doesn't even bring a lot of road noise in the car, despite sitting at low profile tires. These are like 21 inch, aspect ratio of 40, 225 I think, or 255. But hey, you know what, they're quite comfortable. Pirellis, I can't believe that doesn't have such, like, you know, that pronounced road noise, because it's sitting on low profile tires. Insulation as well, I think it's quite sufficient. I can't complain much about that aspect of comfort when it comes to this car. And I have to say, this air suspension, I drove the GLC with the air suspension as well, and at the time I was thinking, nah, there's nothing better than it. This time around, I'm thinking, you know what, Volvo's one is a little bit firmer compared to the GLC one, especially because when it comes to that dynamic drive modes in the Mercedes, when you're changing, when you're putting it on comfort, you can feel that actually, you know what, yeah, this is a little bit more comfortable than actually this one right now. So from that perspective, I think, yes, they are quite comparable, and especially if I have to move to pricing as well, because the pricing of this one, the hybrid, plug-in hybrid, started around 1.3 million in this case. Let me overtake and enjoy the fruits. Woo! Yes, yes. This thing is quick, guys. This thing is quick. Look, the pricing, it started around 1.3, and this one, because it's the ultimate spec, you get it at around 1388, around 1390, which is more or less almost the same as the GLC coupe that we drove. And the GLC coupe in this case, of course, it comes with a lot less spec compared to this one. This one though is spec'd to almost 1.5 mil because it added some stuff in here. I mean, you'll see that in here you do get, I think the most impressive spec for me, of course, for those that don't know, it's this sound system. It is a Bose and working sound system that has 15 speakers, and hey, this thing is powerful. I'm not going to test it now. We'll do it towards the end of the video. But hey, you also get like driving assistance, which means you get like cruise control and adaptive cruise control and so on, which can actually stop and go as well. If the car in front of you is stopping, it also does that. The other spec I'll just show you, but it's the spec that I think it might be nice to have for you, depending on how you see it. Things like your panoramic sunroofs and blind spot monitoring and so on, guys, those are standard. Let me put it, okay, I'll leave it on hybrid, then I'll pull it for you now so that you can see how quick this thing moves from 20, a little bit of and that is 120. That is 120. This thing is quick. This thing is quick, and I love it. I love that it's quick. But what are they talking about, guys? The specs. The specs. Look, it comes with a lot of spec, this thing, at 1.3. This leather seats, it's not like it's, let me put it on cruise control so that you can see how it behaves as well. It's not like it's optional or anything like that. It's not. This thing is included in there. That's what I like about it. That's where I see the competition as well is going to suffer a bit when it comes to that. So it has lane keeping aid, you can see right now as well. It can center the lane as well on the curve. It will be just adjusting as well. It gives up quite early, so let me not abuse it. But hey, I think, like I was saying, the most important thing for me is that in that 1.3, the spec level is quite amazing. I'm curving right now. I left the steering wheel so that you can see how it works. Why am I not panicking? Maybe because I'm in a Volvo. I think the last time I drove a car that has like this kind of systems of driver assistance and so on advanced that I enjoyed so much was in the Mahindra, and in the Volvo as well. I'm finding it to be much more confident, doesn't move like from side to side and so on. So I like that about it. From spec level, this is quite well spec'd, and I love that. I love that because, you know what, when you're with your family and so on, this is the kind of car that I think for me that it won't disappoint you much, because it does get a lot of things right. I mean, it's not a lot that I can complain about. I mean, looking at it from interior perspective as well, you can start seeing that it's a little dated because it's been around for quite some time, and this part of the screen, it's always been like this for quite some time, since the first design in around 2017. I think the screen maybe just changed here and there, but the creasing on the side is the reason I'm complaining. If it was just a plain tablet style, I think it can just take this car back to being like a brand new car for me, because you've seen this in like the latest cars that we're seeing from China as well, the kind of screens that they're putting there. I think it's quite amazing how it's doing it as well. Then you can see as well that from inside, apart from that, this thing looks amazing. Soft touch materials, it feels premium to be in this car. The sound system, the design as well, because of this, you know, these stainless steel covers that you're seeing here, the grills as they call it from Bowers and Wilkins, they add a lot of great ambience that you're feeling in this car as well, because they added some this chrome metallic, whatever this thing is, from inside perspective, the seats design and so on. I just love this car, the way it feels, man. Like the steering wheel, how it feels, everything else about this car. I think they managed to do it quite well. You sit quite well on the long distance like this because it's also quite comfortable. I can't complain much about it. I really can't complain much because there's not a lot to complain about. Probably besides the fact that the screen looks a little bit dated, I can't complain much about it. But yeah, I think maybe the cameras as well, they could be better. It has a 360-degree camera, which is an optional extra as well. I can say that, yeah, maybe because of the way it looks, when you put it like on the top view, I don't like how it looks. It's a little bit disturbing for me. And when I put the cameras on and just pointing towards the sides and front and so on, I find that the camera is clean. I can't complain much about that as well. So from that perspective, I'm fine. And from practicality and convenience as well, I think Volvo has done a great job. This is a great family car, guys. I mean, for me, this is probably one of the best family cars. Having been in the X3, having been in the GLC as well, I'm finding this to be a little bit more, I don't know how to put it, family orientated. I'm happy with just how things are placed from the practicality point of view. I mean, and other brands, I even have to pay to get USBs. In here, you get them in the door bin here. There's 2 Type-Cs. In the rear as well, you get 2 Type-Cs as well. And then you do also get this seat heating. It's an optional extra as well, in front and in the rear as well. You enjoy that. But now let's go again. Yes. I can only get to 120, guys, because yeah, you know what, we are law-abiding citizens, as I said. But hey, again, just back on the practicality, I keep getting disturbed. It's like, this is not a review the way I'm doing it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not as structured. I'm sorry. But hey, again, practicality point of view, even when I'm sitting behind myself, I'm still getting quite sufficient space in the rear. You can see that the seats as well, I think they're splitting like 20, 40, 40 on the sides as well, 40, 20, 40 as they call it. In the boot, you get like what, 480 something liters, which is respectable because then now it's a little bit squarish. So you can put quite a number of things in there. I've traveled with the family before, putting a stroller, car seat was here for the baby as well. I didn't find that it's like disturbing me in any way, or the people that were sitting in here. Otherwise, you can see in the boot, under the floor of the boot, you do get like the tanks that are showing the air suspension as well, which is adjustable. You can adjust it when you take it off-road. It will take the car quite high so that you can be able to do that off-road stuff and so on without scratching the car, and also get a higher ground clearance. I think from this perspective, I'm just thinking about just what is wrong with this car. What is wrong with it? I think if I'm just thinking about one thing probably that I don't like that much is how it's crawling towards when you're parking. If you're parking the car, right, and you just want to stop and get into the parking, I can't stop here. Nah, this is not nice. I can't stop here. If you just want to get into the parking lot and so on, it's like it's assisting you to park. It's crawling. You're not sure whether it's going to move or not because it's on electric power. That's the only thing that frustrates me, because it makes you drive like an amateur of sort. And the camera as well, because it will be doing a top view at standard, it's not looking quite well. So I end up just using the mirrors, but because the vision as well, I can't complain much about it. You can see here, there is quite enough space on the left, on the side of the mirror rather. So from that perspective, I think, yeah, I can't complain much about it. But I promised you a sound system test before I can even finish. I think before that, because I said I'm on ice. I'm on ice currently. I'm doing 8.6 liters to 100 kilometers, and yeah, Volvo indicated on their spec sheet that it can do like less than 2 liters per 100 kilometers. I think maybe it's when you are on EV mode combined with the engine as well, because it seamlessly integrates throughout. But I'm not sure if you can achieve that, because even when it came in, it still had some battery, I think around 50 kilometers on the battery, but it was showing around 7 liters to 100. So I'm not sure how you're going to achieve that. Hey, I promised you the sound system test, guys. This is an amazing sound system. From my point of view, this is the best sound system in its segment. And I'm gonna play it for you right now. Like, yeah, if the camera doesn't pick it quite well, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Let me play this. Oh. This is the same track I played in the GLC when we were doing that long distance drive. So you can compare the two videos. Same camera system, same everything. guys, I can't complain. This thing doesn't rattle, doesn't do anything. This is guys, if I was to get this with this sound system, I'll be living my best life, honestly. I think another thing probably that I can complain about is the fact that you only get Apple CarPlay in here. But hey, it's probably because then they're not rushing the Android Auto issue. I had somewhere that they still want to bring it. Probably it's going to come as an update. But hey, look, this is an Android automotive system. It has Google services, meaning that when you come in here, you put on maps and so on, you get Google Maps, and you can log in with your Google details and actually just seamlessly integrate your ecosystem from the phone, tablet, laptop, and also this system in the car. So from that perspective, I can't complain much. And yeah, I think because then this is a test car, I can't log in with my details. If I forget them, then I'll have problems, right? I'll have problems. But hey, look guys, like I said, I can't complain much about this car. I think for me, if I was to complain, I'd be nitpicking and whatever that may be. When I'm just thinking about this whole thing, I can't just say this car, I fought it. It's almost faultless. I don't even know what to say, actually. I don't even know how to put it, but it's almost faultless. There are many cars that even at a price point of 1.3 million, I can still point some stuff and say I'm not satisfied with this and that. This one, besides the stuff that I spoke about, I think it justifies this pricing so well. It justifies it so well. And if you think about the competition as well, including some cars that are cheaper, in this case, the Chinese and so on, which are almost equally measured. We're talking your Cherries, your Havals. You can actually try justifying what's happening in here, because the power, I don't think you're going to find any power like this car. This thing is so powerful. This engine performs so well. 8-speed automatic in here performs so well. It knows when to change up, down, when to misbehave, when to behave. And yeah, I'm trying to think, guys, before I close this video as to what can I say is the problem. But right now, I can't really say much. And if there's anything, we're still gonna probably do a night review and talk a little bit about some of the stuff that probably you would have said in the comments, or stuff that I think maybe I didn't mention in this video. Without further ado, guys, I can't keep babbling about how great this car is. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I really, really appreciate it. And I am out.